Hello friends, welcome back to English Classes Online. I am Benjamin. Today's video is about modal verbs in English. Modal verbs in English. We want to really look at this as part of our course, English Grammar for Beginners. And I must say that this is not just for beginners, but we have put together a course that will take you from the beginner stage to the intermediate stage and even to the expert stage. So let's dive into the lesson, but not before I have reminded you to kindly subscribe to this channel if you have not done so. When you subscribe to the channel, it is free of charge and it gives you free access to all the videos we upload on this channel. So if you are interested in videos like this, click on the bell icon as well so that whenever new videos are uploaded, you will receive notifications. Let's dive into the lesson and look at modal verbs in English. What are modal verbs? A modal verb is an auxiliary or helping verb. Modal verbs add meaning to the main verb by expressing possibility, ability, permission, or obligation. Modal verbs in English are as follows: will and would, can and could, shall and should, may and might, and must. There are other modal verbs which some scholars classify as semi-modals. Let's look at them: need, dare, used to, ought to, and have to. They are not the same with the modals in that they don't follow all the rules of modal verbs. We shall discuss these with the rules of modal verbs. However, linguists differ in their views. Some treat all these as modal verbs, while some believe that need to and have to are not modal verbs at all. All these belong to the realm of, scholarly arguments. But our concern in this video is to show you how you can use the modal verbs, whether they are the modal verbs or the semi-modal verbs. You need to know how to use them to communicate your ideas effectively in English. That's exactly the focus of this lesson. Now let's examine the rules of modal verbs. 1. Modal verbs are helping verbs and cannot be used as main verbs in a sentence. For instance, James can drive a car, not James can a car. So you can see that modal verbs are used together with the main verbs. And when you attempt to use them alone, they will not make any meaning, which means they depend on the main verb to express their meaning. James can drive a car. The main verb here is drive. The modal verb is can. And so James can drive a car is expressing James' ability to drive a car. If we say James drives a car, we are not expressing ability, but when we add can, we bring the angle of ability. James can drive a car. Number 2, they are always used with infinitives without to. When we use them with the base verb. The main verb drive is in its base verb, all right? And we cannot say James can drove, or James can driving, or James can driven. It's only the base form, drive. James can drive. If we are using the verb sing, James can sing. We can't say James can sang. James can write, and we cannot say James can wrote or James can written. So They are always used with infinitives without to. Again, we cannot add to. We cannot say James can to drive. It doesn't make sense. Let's look at these two examples here. I can do the job. Children should obey their parents. So we cannot say I can to do the job or children should to obey their parents. No. All right. We can say James is learning how to drive. We cannot say James is learning how to can drive. So to cannot be used with a modal verb. That's one of the rules. All right. And when we use a verb with it, we use the main verb in its base form. All right. Then rule number 3, they retain the same form for all singular and plural subjects. Or when you are talking of all pronouns, all the persons of the pronoun, the modal verb retains the same. Let's look at the examples. I may, you may, she may, we may, they may. Now, if we are dealing with main verbs, you discover that the form of the verb changes with the different persons of the pronoun, or if we have a singular subject or a plural subject, then the form changes. For instance, I sing, you sing, she sings, right? So, but this doesn't happen with the modal verbs. They retain the same form for all singular and plural subjects, okay? Number 4, they take direct negative and question forms. We can't go now, can we? Their negative forms can be contracted. Cannot changes to can't. I cannot, I can't. Should not changes to shouldn't. Would not changes to wouldn't. However, may and might are used with not, may not, or might not. Will is changed to won't, and shall becomes shan't. In questions, the modal verb comes before the subject. Can you do it? Shall we? All right, so you can see, how they are used with negatives and also with question forms. All right. Rule number 5, they don't combine. Sorry, okay. They don't combine. They don't combine with another modal verb. It's wrong to say we can, should. All right. Or you cannot say it should, may, or they will, can. So you cannot combine a modal verb with another modal verb. All right. So these are the rules. And as we continue looking at it, we will see other features of the modal verbs. Now let's look at the semi-modals, which don't obey the rules of modal verbs. Of course, the semi-modals need, they, used to, ought to, and have to. They differ from other modals as follows. 1, they are followed by infinitive with to. We need to, used to, ought to, have to, dared to visit them, Number 2, they respond to singular and plural subjects. I, we, they need. You have to, he, she, it needs to, has to, So when we use the third person singular, you discover that the form of need changes. When we use the plural like they need, but he needs. You have, but he has. So you can see that this set of modals, violate that rule which says that, modals take both, they remain the same for both singular and plural subjects. But this set of modals are sensitive to change in number, either singular or plural, so there are changes there. All right, number 3, they can be combined with another auxiliary verb. Does she need to come with us? You can see, does she need to come with us? You cannot say, does she can to come with us? Does she would to come with us? Does she should to come with us? It cannot work. So we can see how this set of modals differ from the other set of modals. Does she need to come with us? We don't have to let her come with us. We don't have to. We cannot say we don't can to, all right, or we don't shall to. Those other set of verbs cannot be used in combination with another auxiliary. They will have to return to the bank. We may need to invite her, so we can see. But however, I must point out here that even among the other sets of modals, we still have some differences, among them. For example, will and would, will and of course will and can have some peculiar features that are different from the rest of the others. For instance, all the other modals cannot be used in the past tense. For instance, they don't change in tenses, but would in some cases is used as the past tense of will, and could in some cases is used as the past tense of can. However, these are really not very major differences, because if you look at can and could, you discover that could in most cases is also used to express present realities, so, and would is also used to in the present sense. So it's really not a major difference. But what can we take home from this? That we need to look at each modal verb as unique, and we look at how they are used. All right, the classification as to whether these are modals or semi-modals do not really matter as such. In fact, most scholars do not do this classification. We are only trying to look at it so that you will have a holistic picture. You take a holistic look at the subject. Now, why are modal verbs important? Modal verbs are important because of the communicative functions they perform in English speech and writing. They help us to express different ideas which are very important for effective communication in everyday life. For example, they are used to talk about possibility, ability, probability, or certainty. They are used to give advice, ask for permission, make a promise or prediction, express willingness, intention, determination, or obligation. These are all important ideas that need to be expressed in English speech or conversation, and the modal verbs help us to express them with clarity. So you can see that the modal verbs are very important, and that is why we are looking at it in this video. Modal verbs and their meanings. We now want to look at their uses, how they are used. All right. Let's start with will. We are looking at the mood and the examples. The mood here is the idea, the idea the speaker wants to express, All right, so Let's look at them one after the other. Will can be used to express the idea of willingness. For example, I will help you with your homework later. Will you help me carry this carton? So this is a way of expressing willingness. I will help you with your homework later. Willingness. Then intention. I will travel to Enugu tomorrow. I will travel to Enugu tomorrow. That I can use that to express my intention to travel to Enugu tomorrow. Then insistence. Junior, why will you keep making a noise? In this case, I am insisting that noise making is really unacceptable. Junior, why will you keep making a noise? You are expressing insistence. You are insisting that Junior should stop making a noise. Then prediction. Joanne will have got the bad news by now. You are predicting that by now Joanne will have got the bad news. A cube of sugar will dissolve in water. So you are stating a scientific fact, and you are predicting that whenever you put a cube of sugar in water, it will dissolve, because this is a scientific fact. Okay, let's look at would, and this also is used to express willingness. Would you pay for my tickets? She asked if I would help her with her homework. Insistence. He stressed that he wouldn't rescind the decision. That means he insisted that he was not going to change the decision. She said she would keep criticizing the bad policies of the government. She insisted on doing that. All right. Then habitual actions. Every morning the family would pray and sing. Every morning the family would pray and sing. All right. She would go home once the class was dismissed. So here you use would to express habitual actions in the past. In the past. Possibility. That would be my wife coming. It's possible it's my wife coming. That would be the sound of a gun. A possibility. Then hypothetical. Something imagined. If the lecturers had not embarked on the long strike, I would have completed my university education. All right. If he had not gone into drug abuse, he wouldn't have gone mad. So it's a hypothetical situation. It's something you imagine would have been the situation if another situation would not have arisen. Of course, this features in what we call a conditional sentence. If he had not gone, and this is the kind of conditional sentence that we call the impossible situation. It's not a likely situation, because the possibility of changing the situation has already gone. It's done and dusted. Then you can use would to express politeness. All right. Would you shut the door, please? I would like to have it in cash if possible. All right. So in this case, you are using would to express politeness. Then we can use it to express purpose. He hid his money so that the robbers would not take it from him. He hid his money so that the robbers would not take it from him. All right. Then second example, the cashier set the office ablaze so that people would not discover the fraud. All right. That's purpose in this case. You can use would to express or to make an offer. Would you like a bottle of malt? Would you come for dinner? All right. Preferences. I'd shortened form of I would. I'd like a glass of water. They'd rather die than worship a man-made god. You know the biblical three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They would rather die than worship a man-made God, right? Then let's look at how shall can be used. We use shall to express legality or to express legal opinions. Members shall obey the rules and regulations of the association. This is the language of the law. Shall is the language of the law. If you read the scripture, thou shalt not, or you shall not steal, you shall not do this, you shall not do that. So shall is the language, is part of language of the law. All right. All citizens shall obey the constitution of the land. Then we can use shall to make a promise. The first 10 subscribers shall get a bonus. He that endures till the end shall be saved. We can use it to express our intention. I shall travel to Kano tomorrow. I shan't be long. In this case, we can also say it is used to express futurity or to express a future action, a future event. We can use it in making threats. Anyone who plays with fire shall be hurt. No one shall escape. All right. Prediction. This time next week I shall be in Enugu. Unless business improves, we shall have no alternative but to close the factory. All right. You can use it to make offers. Shall I pay the money into your bank? Shall I get you a bottle of malt? Instruction. You can use shall to give instructions. Candidates shall remain in their seats until all the scripts are collected. Applicants shall come with their CV and relevant credentials. So you can use shall to give instruction. Let's look at should. Should can be used to express necessity. Pregnant women should visit the antenatal regularly. Patients should obey their doctor's instruction. We can use should to talk about obligation. Children should obey their parents. It's an obligation, it's a duty. Men should have only one wife. We are talking of what men should do. Okay. Unexpectedness. You can use should to express unexpectedness. You shouldn't say such a thing about Mary. That means I didn't expect you to say such a thing about Mary. You shouldn't have left your baby with a total stranger. Then you can use should to give some pieces of advice or a piece of advice. Youth should avoid premarital sex. People should desist from smoking Indian hemp. Then we can also use it to report a hypothetical situation or express a hypothetical idea. I should move to a mansion in Ikoyi if I had money. If I were asked to give bribe, I should reject the contract. All right. Tentativeness. Should anyone want to see me, please tell them I am in a meeting. This is used in formal settings in most cases. If you should require further information, do let me know. Okay. Then we can use should to express purpose. The teacher explained the topic more clearly so that the students should understand. The police use tear gas so that the rioters should disperse. The purpose of using the tear gas. So should is used to express that purpose. Surprise. We can use should to express surprise. I arrived at the seminar, and who should be standing on the podium but Jude? You know, that's a surprise. You can use should in this way to express surprise. I opened the envelope, and what should I find but a letter of employment? You see, you are using should to express your surprise. We can also use should to express politeness. I should be grateful if you would send me your price list. Now, this features informal letters and informal communication. I should like to see the director if you wouldn't mind. I should like to see the director if you wouldn't mind. All right. So these are uses of should. And then let's look at can. We can use can to express ability. I can speak French. John can drive. I can speak French is expressing my ability to speak French. John's ability to drive is underscored with that example. John can drive. All right. Permission. We can use can to ask for permission or to give permission. You can use the car whenever you want. Members can park their cars anywhere in the premises. You can also say, can I use the car? You know, you're asking permission. All right. Then we can express possibility with can. The Super Eagles can win the match if they show greater determination. That is a possibility. We can complete the work on schedule. We can. It's a possibility. Request. Can I use your pen? Well, in that case, you are making a formal request. You are asking for permission. So, but here we are putting it as a request. All right. Can you mend the tap for me? You are making a request. Then let's examine could. We can use could also to express ability. John could run well when he was a student, but in this case, we are expressing ability in the past. I could speak Hausa well when I was working in Kaduna. If we are expressing the same ability in the present time, if there is a slight change, we can make some adjustments. For instance, I could speak Hausa well when I was working in Kaduna, but now I cannot speak Hausa fluently. You know, I could in the past, now I cannot. All right? Possibility. Emma could have just forgotten to call back. I suppose, you know, that is a possibility. You expected Emma to call back, he didn't, and you are saying it's possible, you know, that he forgot. Emma could have just forgotten to call back, I suppose. In this case, we are saying that you don't believe he deliberately refused to call back. The match could end a goalless draw. Could, that's a possibility. Now, permission. Junior could stay behind. You are giving Junior permission. Maybe you are talking to a group of boys and you are saying everybody should go home, but Junior could stay behind. Martha could come in and live with us. That's permission. You can use could also to make a request. And in this case, you are being more polite in your request. Could you shut the door, please? Could you lend me your pen? All right. Then let's look at how we use may. We can use may to ask for permission or to grant permission. May I come in? You may come in if you wish. Possibility. You may miss the flight if you don't hurry up. So missing your flight is a possibility if you don't hurry up. The contractor may discontinue the work if he is not paid the money. That's a possibility. He may discontinue. Then purpose. There is need for more federal universities so that our children may find it easier to gain admission into the university. The purpose of, having more universities is for our children to find it easier to gain admission into the university. The government should increase the minimum wage so that workers may enjoy a better standard of living. Parents should instill discipline in their children so that they may grow up as responsible adults. All right? When you want to express purpose, you use may. All right? And you discover that, may is used in combination with should. You can always see, the government should increase, so that workers may enjoy. Parents should instill discipline so that, so that children may grow up. All right, so should combine with may to express purpose in this way. Then we can express politeness with may. May I ask why you changed your mind? May I ask? If I may just add one thing, there is a need for urgent action in the power sector. You are being polite. If I may just add one thing. You look cute, if I may say so. That's politeness. All right? Wishes and hopes, all right, can be expressed using may as well. May your days be long. May God grant you peace. May peace reign in our land. All right? Now, we can also use may to give information. Okay, which village may she be from? How much may he be asking for? Who may have sent this text? So in this case, you are asking for information. All right? Then let's look at how we can use might. We can use might to express possibility. There might be some truth in what she said. It's a possibility. She might catch the flight, but I can't be sure. It's just a possibility. Then permission. Might I use your pen? You can ask permission also using might. You can use may, you can use might. Students might come with their parents. It means they are granted permission. Might I go to the bathroom? All right. Then polite suggestion. You can suggest something politely using might. You might try calling the customer care center. You might. I thought we might visit the beach this weekend. You might consider finishing your degree. You are making a polite suggestion. Then let's look at how we can use must. We use must to express compulsion when something is compulsory. Drivers must desist from drinking alcohol while driving. It's compulsory. Candidates must answer only 2 questions, which means 2 questions are compulsory, others are optional. Necessity. When we want to talk about necessity, I must go to the bank and get some money. It is necessary. Cars must not park in front of the entrance. All visitors must report to the reception when you want to talk of something that is necessary. Then we can also make a recommendation with must. We must get together soon for lunch. You simply must read this book. You are recommending the book to the listener. We must send Junior to the boarding school. Perhaps the wife is making this recommendation, in the audience of the husband. Strong prediction. Austin must have missed his flight since he's still there. You are aware of the time of the flight, and the time for the flight has passed and Austin is still there. So you are making a very strong prediction that Austin must have missed his flight since he's still there up to this moment. All right. Then the second example, you must be hungry after all that walking. You know, you are making a strong prediction. Somebody has trekked for a long distance, and you predict strongly that for that reason, the person must be hungry. Now, another is ought to. You know, we can use it to express necessity or obligation. They ought to have apologized. Such things ought not to be allowed. Helen ought to have written to say thank you. You know, something that is necessary, that can also be looked at somebody's obligation, you know. Then we can use ought to talk about expectation. Children ought to be able to speak their mother tongue at the age of 7. They ought to, something they are expected to be able to do. Doctors ought to be adequately remunerated. Doctors ought to be adequately remunerated. Then you can make prediction with ought to. We ought to be living now. You ought to try and persuade your sister to come with us. That's, you are recommending that something be done. Then we can also express probability. If he started out at 4, he ought to be here by now. You know, that ought to be enough food for 2 of us. Oughtn't the water to have boiled by now? All right, that's peculiar use. Oughtn't the water to have boiled by now? Of course, not many people use this oughtn't. All right, shortened form. There, let's look at there, another modal verb or semi-modal, if you want to regard it in that way. The modal there usually occurs in negated clauses and interrogatives. It is used to express threat, anger, and probability. Let's look at how it can be used to express threat. Don't you dare say anything to anybody. You dare not enter this room. Dare you exchange words with me? Now, these are all examples of threats, you know, making a threat with the modal dare. You can express anger. How dare you talk to me like that? How dare she imply that I was lying? How dare you slap my wife? You know, these are situations that triggered anger, and you are expressing your anger using the modal dare. Then we can also talk about a probable situation, you know, probability. I dare say you should know about it already. You know, I'm just, you know, guessing that, you know, you ought to know. I dare say Dan lied about his qualification. I'm expressing a probability that is possible, is probable Dan lied about his qualification. I dare say the director is economical with the truth. You know, it's a probability you are just bringing up. Then let's look at need. You know, how we can use need. That's another modal or semi-modal, if you like. We can use it to express necessity. You need not go there in person. You need not obey ungodly instructions. Need you have paid so much? All right, so necessity. All right, and that's the much we can take in today's video. We have been looking at the modal verbs in English, and you will agree with me that modal verbs are very important in our English speech and writing, and we need to have a very good understanding of how modal verbs are used in our everyday English speech and writing. When we learn how to use modal verbs in English, then we improve our grammar and we also update our linguistic competence. Using the modal verbs and knowing how to use them will enable us to speak more fluently. You know, fluency is about speaking, being able to speak and express your ideas without hesitation because you have a good command of the language. And modal verbs are those aspects of the English language that enable you to communicate your ideas in a variety of ways. So, in improving your knowledge of the use of modal verbs will update your linguistic competence and increase your ability to communicate more effectively. I believe you have gained some benefits from this video. If you have, kindly leave your comments below, or if you have any suggestions as to how I can improve the quality of my lectures, do not hesitate to leave your comments below. If you would like to suggest a topic, if there's any topic in English learning that gives you some problems or difficulties, you could suggest that topic, and we will gladly discuss it in subsequent lectures. If you have not subscribed to the channel, kindly do so that you will have free access to all the videos we upload on this channel. And if you click on the subscribe on the bell icon as well, of course you will receive regular notifications when new videos are uploaded. So that's how we are. Again, we want to thank you for being part of today's episode. See you in the next lecture, and bye for now.